Hello everybody and welcome to a new video. My name is Medici and today we're gonna be looking once again at some more Age of Origins, and what I'm trying to do here is to get a lot of better easy resources, and I'm gonna teach you exactly how you can do that no matter what city level you are. Of course, the higher city level you are, it's gonna be a little bit easier, but let me just go through it first. So I want to be leveling up my city from city level 26 to 27, and that's gonna cost me a whole lot of resources. As you can see, it's a lot of millions of food, oil, steel and minerals, and food and oil are gonna be of course the ones that we need the most of, and they're gonna be the easiest ones to get. So you could just wait and farm, or you could just go ahead and try and do something about it. So as you can see, even if I use all the ones that I have on the item things, I could not be nowhere near close in having enough of them. So without spending any money, I'm gonna be doing one thing, and that is engaging in some good old PvP to try and fish for some resources, but without the need of sacrificing all my troops. So as you can see, I'm right here in the map, and of course this is my alliance, and I'm not gonna be attacking any other big alliances, because of course in this game there's a lot of politics, and doing that usually comes with a heavy price. You will be attacked back, or you will face some backlash, and people will just not like that whatsoever. So what we can do about it, we can try and fish for some easy cities that are not being really kept up to date, like people that are just not really playing the game. So the way you can do that is by just going through the map, usually going a little bit far away from where you are, trying to avoid the big cities. For example, we can find a small city here. Usually you will have to be pretty careful to try and see if that city belongs to any academy from some big alliance, or if it belongs to some sort of farming alliance. But if you don't give a damn, you can just go ahead and attack pretty much anybody. But of course, keep in mind that if you attack people that are stronger than you, you will of course probably lose a lot of troops. And you're trying really to look for cities that are really not being kept up to date. They don't really have many troops on them, and you will just have an easy time killing those cities. So what we can do here is just scout around, and we are just seeing a lot of these cities are part of some farm alliances, or my own alliance, or allied alliances to us. So we don't want to be killing those, but you are going to be looking for cities that are around level 10-ish. If they are a little bit higher, the better. If they're a little bit lower, usually they won't have too many resources. Of course, some of these smaller cities that are not even level 10, they're probably going to be from bots or people that are just not playing, and you won't get much out of them. So what you can do is just go around the map like I'm doing, and try and find people that are not really playing, and just go ahead and try and find something you can easily kill, and just scout that city. Just send the scouts out and see what you get out of that, what information you can find out. So we just found out some cities that I think that will be pretty easy to kill. At least if you are around city level 20 or even lower than that, you will probably be able to just smash these cities in no time pretty easily, because they're usually pretty weak and they don't have any defense. So this one, for example, barely has any resources, but we could attack it and get some of that pretty easily. With my load boost, I could get this in one go, and as you can see, they have no defenses, so this is pretty much just a free attack. And you might say, oh well, that's not too many resources, but I mean, it's a free kill. You don't lose much out of it, and you will not get into probably any trouble if you're just finding out these cities that are really far away and nobody really cares about them, and they're not really even piloted by anybody. Sometimes you might do get in trouble, like I did sometimes, because you somehow find a city that you think belongs to pretty much nobody, like those commander city whatevers, but they are actually from some sort of farm alliance. Another way, of course, you can do this is just by setting up your own farms, but that takes a lot more effort and a lot more trouble to go through. So for example, we find one here that has about 500k of each, so we could just go ahead and attack this one pretty easily. But I'll wait for some of these scouts to come back so I can see what I got. I can just keep on sending the scouts onto these cities because I have a lot of the queues. I have 5 queues that I can send out for the fleets. So yeah, I can just multitask that and see what I can get. So yeah, I think that the best one we found out was this one. It's not ideal, but yeah, you know, this is not that bad. We can go ahead and try and attack this one. It's not too close to anything, so it's probably gonna be no problem to attack it. Let me just scout this one as well. By the way, if there is an eye next to the city, like you see here, an eye next to the name, that means you already scouted that city, so you don't need to do it again because you already got the information. So we got all the reports from all the scouts. Pretty much the best one we found is this one that I have here on the map right now. So let me just go ahead and set up an attack. So before I can do that, of course, I need to have a space in the queue, and why not, I'll be using this as well. So I'll increase my fleet level, or my fleet size, 10%, just because why not. I'm not really using it today, so I might as well do that, and we'll just wait until one of the scouts come back, and then we'll send an attack onto this city. city. Now, of course, the closer the city is to you, the less time is going to take for you to go to it and back. Of course, you could just teleport your city, but that's usually not something you want to be doing because that costs some resources, some gold or some items for the teleport. So let me just set up my troops here with the buff, and I'll see you in a second. Okay, so my troops are now set up. I got one of each as always, and of course a lot of the back lane fighters. We don't need much front line here because it's gonna be pretty easily it's going to be a pretty easy stomp for the most part to attack this city. So we just send that out and we'll see ourselves. We just see each other in 5 minutes. Once it gets there, we'll just see how easy it is to do this. But in the meantime, what you can do is just go ahead and keep on scouting. You can do this pretty much. AFK, of course, doesn't take too much work. The most work you need to do is by scouting the cities that you might think that have some good resources. This takes a little bit of time, but you can just do it at work. To be fair, I do this at work myself or when I'm just bored. I just go around the map and I try and find a city that I think might have some good resources. If I don't think that it belongs to anybody, I'll just go ahead and send a scout, and if they have some good resources, then that's some free resources for you, and that way you can just get millions and millions of the easy resources, the oil and the food for yourself that you can just use for pretty much anything. Of course, getting the steel and the minerals, you will not really be getting those because you need to attack higher level cities that are able to gather those in order to get them. But in any case, you will be able to get the bulk of the ones that are the easiest to get. That way you can just get them in a few days of doing this, to be fair. So I'll see you in a few minutes when the attack gets there and we'll see how much we got. So in the meantime, while we wait, let me just give you some very quick tips that are going to be very handy to increase your efficiency when doing this. And those are going to be to increase your load boosts. Now the load boosts increased how much resources you can, basically your troops can get whenever they attack. So when you increase this, means that whenever you attack, you will just be getting more out of the total resources that the enemy has. By doing so, you will just be more efficient. You will require less attacks to completely drain your target. You have these two nodes right here which you can get to increase the load boost. Getting the depot doesn't do anything, it's just about depot, and the gather of course is kind of nice, but getting these two, the load boost, to be maxed out will just make it a lot better. I'm not really sure if there's something else that can increase the load boost here, but those two things should be the most important things when approaching that, because yeah, you have the most load that you can get, like for example this here. Also level it up, get your load boost high. The easier and the quicker you're gonna be able to do this again and again and again to get a lot of resources in the least amount of time. So here we go, our attack is getting to the target. And by the way, if you got any questions about this or any other aspect of the game, please drop them down in the comments. I'll be glad to answer them. And now we can see that we just finished the attack. We can now go ahead and retreat our troops by using this skill that I have, which will just bring them all back, and then we'll see how much we got. So that is the attack report, and we can see that we didn't get too much out of that. They didn't have that much resources, but that's a couple 100,000 resources that we just got for free. We do not even need to send our titans because, as you can see, we barely lost any units because they didn't have almost any units whatsoever. We mostly lost our front line, and that's what we don't really care about because that's when we're just using single-digit troops because we just want to use them as fodder. So in the meantime, I found myself some other cities that I wanted to attack. For example, this one is not too far away from my own city, so I'm just gonna go ahead and repeat that. Since I already brought my troops back, I could go ahead and heal them back up, but I don't really need to because I got enough, so I don't need to do that. And I can just send them out again, and there you go. In 3 minutes, and obviously they gotta go back, you will just get yourself a couple 100,000 resources like that, and then you can keep on going. I just did that, so in the meantime, while I'm attacking, I'll just go ahead and find something else. Of course, the farther you go from your base, it's going to take a little bit longer to get to those cities. Your troops will just take longer, but that's fine because you are just going to be doing this while you're sort of AFK at work or whatever. You don't really have too much time, so it's fine. You just need to dedicate a few minutes at a time, and then you just reap the rewards. So for example, level 13 city, I think that one's fine to attack. Let me just go ahead and attack it. Hopefully it's not a big issue. This one, well, I'll just go ahead and scout it, see what they got, and you just keep on doing this. It's pretty simple, pretty easy. You don't need to be high level. As you saw, there's barely any troops in this city, and you can go as low for, I don't know, like you can just go for a city that barely has anything. For example, these ones are part of a big alliance. I want to be avoiding those, otherwise I'll get myself in trouble, or I'll probably just, you know, start a war, and I don't want to be doing that. So I'll just go for cities that are a little bit farther and that are just weaker. You could get yourself in trouble, or you could just go ahead and try and fight if you feel confident enough, and maybe you will get away with it. That's just how this game works, really. If you want to be brave and valiant, you can just try and attack anybody, but of course that will get you yourself in trouble because you will make yourself a target. So yeah, in the meantime, I just keep on sending scouts and they come back and I keep sending them and so on and so forth until I find something that is worth attacking. And there we go, we found something. This one's also worth it, and this one not really, but that's okay. This one not really as well. So I could go ahead for this one, but ideally I would want to find something that has like 1 million of each, so I can attack it like twice and get about 1 million each time. By the way, your resource amount increases whenever your troops come back, so that's when you actually get the resources, not when the attack finishes. So let's just wait until my attack this time comes back from it, and we'll see when we go home from them. So as you keep doing this, you might find yourself some juicy targets like this one with no defenses basically whatsoever. I mean, this is all level 1 and 2 and 3. You can pretty easily defeat that with a pretty low level city. Obviously, if you're level 1, you will need to rise your city a little bit until you can do this, but that is going to be pretty easy resources. I think I found another one sort of like that. I also had about 1 million. So yeah, we found some good targets, and in the meantime, our attack came back and we got those resources leveling up. I'll show you what the last attack that I did got me. I got only about 700,000, not too much, but once again, we just keep doing this again and again and again. One thing that's a little bit annoying is just keeping up with all the scouts that you send, so you might lose some of the good targets. For example, this one was the other one that I found, and I'll just see this one also barely has any good troops. Obviously, it has a few thousand, but I can just one-shot that with my high-level troops. But yeah, you don't really need to be pretty low, or rather pretty high level to do this. You don't need to be too strong. You can do this from a pretty low level. The higher level you are, of course, the easier it's gonna be, but you don't really care too much about these resources when you go higher level. Of course, you will keep caring about them, but it will not be that big of an issue. Anyways, everybody needs food and oil, so this is a pretty easy way of doing it, and I'll just go ahead and keep attacking these guys because why not? That's what I'm doing the video about, so I'll just keep on doing it. There we go. Okay, so we just keep sending the attacks, and we just keep getting easy resources. Once again, if you got any questions, let me know about them down in the comments. And yeah, just follow this method if you would just want to be farming some easy resources. Of course, this game is all about attacking, but you don't always need to be risking your troops and actually getting them killed and then having to reveal them for getting some resources. You don't need to take big risks and attack big cities. If you just want to be getting some easy resources like food and oil like here, just do the same trick that I'm doing here. It works pretty well. And just really try to avoid getting yourself in trouble by attacking bigger cities or farms or academy cities that belong to bigger alliances, because then you will get some backlash and you will probably get yourself attacked and have to bubble or whatever. So yeah, just do this if you want to get some easy resources, and I'll see you on the next video. Once again, drop comments down below if you want to be if you want to know anything about this game. If you want to try it out and you haven't done so, please also go ahead down in the description and click the link below to download the game, and I'll be seeing you in the next video. Hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, bye bye, see ya.